And it's no, where's that gone? It's a Twisted Fate skin, Jack of Hearts. It's just called Jack of Hearts instead of Jack of Hearts Twisted Fate, like everything else. And it is in the right way around, and I forgot to change my overlay. So this is what you get.
I already see one interesting pick, and rated going with the Doran's Ring start item.
Welcome to Summoner's
Means
Rift.
no wards in their lane, and that's like he can actually do that because just of the jungler Meteor Maker's pick. Like they go and pick Shen, so unrated thinks okay, passive jungler, don't need to buy wards, and I'll just go for a more dominant item-wise choice. So I really think with Graves, Soraka, like they won't lose the lane anyway, and with Soraka going Doran's Ring first, I think they will actually
30 seconds until
be more
minions
effective
spawn.
on the lane than Sona and Varus.
How was my overlay broken itself while I was away?
I can tell you why, because you didn't prepare.
I have prepared. I saved this, I backed it up, I reformatted, made sure I knew it, and somehow it's changed itself out. I don't know. MYM then setting up defensive and watching the entrances to their jungle. They're actually all starting to group around towards the Tribush at the bottom. There's 4 of them sitting down there. Top lane has recalled. I'd be very surprised if they actually managed to catch Yellow Star in there. He has left it, so they are free to walk in for now, but they do look like they all want to come and interrupt these golems, which, if they do it right, will be very painful for Against All Authority. Let's see, going around the backside for now. And then ready to make his way down and across. If he's too close to that Tribush, he's safe. Looking up towards the red. Linak, he's very exposed. He's going to get taunted. He's going to get burst. First blood goes to Sona. Less than ideal, but how do you shut down a Twitch? You destroy his early game, and that's one way to do it.
Yep, that's perfectly done by Meteor Makers. Shut down the early game of Twitch, and well, actually now already they don't have to be scared anymore. At least not that much, because well, Twitch needs to get level 2, and he will have a hard time getting it now.
Charu's already placed a pink ward in the mid lane.
No, it was the support that placed it there.
Oh, it's the flash taunt guns with AMT in the mid lane. Charu gets down a Q. Makati will finish it off with a key strike. And 2 kills in very quick succession for MYM. 2 and 0. And they're up by 1,000 gold. I said it earlier on, MYM is underrated at the moment as far as I'm concerned.
I don't know why anyone would underrate them, because they actually have proven a lot already. Maybe not at the major events, but just being a team for so long, I think that's already quite an achievement if you look at what happens to the other teams.
Yeah, it does. So, Linak is standing right underneath Keybon, comes out of stealth, lands a slow with the poison, Soez goes in, grabs his E, gets a stun, there's the last little patch of damage. Keybon going to flash away with the poison is enough. Linak grabs that, Soez grabs that kill. Right, Linak, okay, they got a first blood in him, he doesn't have a red buff, but he's still not useless. And,
Hope he played it very well there. That's exactly what he needed, a kill and level 2. He got level 2 by doing his wolves and then stealing a bit of experience on Soa's lane, and after that the kill will help him so much.
The actual missiles, I suppose they are, that Varus flies out, are really weird shapes. That's wow, McCarthy's taking a lot of damage from Soaz in that top lane. The range poke from these shurikens and that W with his auto attack. Really quite strong, but Yellow starting in the race now. They're being quite aggressive onto Mackler in the bit later. Libic grabbing that first blood, as I say, not ideal, but it has given him a nice leg up in the bot lane. I mean, I spoke to a couple of supports at the weekend at I-45, and they were talking about how you give a support a couple of kills, okay, it's unconventional, it's not what you think about, but once they get those first GP5s up, they can do so much for the team because of the constant gold flow they have from so early on. So, see whether Libic can make the most of that bonus 400 gold as AMT2K is being stared down by Makati. Doesn't quite time there right though.
Well, it's kind of hard to land that taunt anyway, especially when he has almost no movement speed.
They went in onto Makler, the bot lane, the exhaust, the ignite went out. He did flash under the tower. Poison from Linak, not quite strong enough. I don't actually think he got the expunge off. He's only just hit level 3, so he didn't have expunge. Makler will recall and be safe. They're going to be a little bit aggressive onto Libic, but he should be fine under the tower.
Linek is just staying there and steal the XP, because I really don't think he's doing much by staying there. I just think he's gaining back on level he lost early on.
Cubon really low under the top tower, and Soaz gonna hit 6 in about one more minion wave. Once this one drops, Cubon is really pushing his luck. We'll see how that plays out. Taunt lands in the mid lane. AMT grabbed by McCutty. He's got that red buff up. He gets a good key strike following with the Vorpal Blade. Won't get the kill, but he does force AMT back and out of lane. Going to give Chari a little bit of free farm time.
Renekton actually used Ignite on Cannon already. For almost no reason. He probably thought that Cannon was going to dive him, and while he was doing his lightning strike, he ignited him, and well, he actually did nothing.
And yeah, he did go back just before Cannon hit 6, so let's see. Makler to Yellow Star, 51 CS on Graves, 34 on Varus. Certainly doesn't seem to be a favourable lane just yet. We'll see how it plays out later on. Maybe in some dragon fights, but 2 and 1 does mean MYM are still ever so slightly ahead in the global gold, but Against Authority are pulling it back across almost every lane. The mid lane is still pretty even, but top lane is certainly in their favour. Bottom lane is a long way in their favour. And Linek doing a good job in that jungle too, despite being first blooded, has helped with his ganks, got himself an assist, and is closing the CS gap as well.
He's still only level 4 though, and Shen is already level 6, so he's still quite behind.
Very much so. Shen now having that global map presence will be able to help out any of the lanes regardless of where he is on his jungle route. Cubon still not quite 6 himself, doing his best to avoid Soaz's damage. And there's another pink ward in that mid lane. Charu does not want Linek coming to play, and as a result, Linek is in fact waiting in the bottom lane again. Stealthed up. Level
Well, he's
4.
exactly focusing where he needs to focus, Linek, the middle or the bottom lane.
In fact, he goes straight in on Libic as soon as he got close. Yellow Star gets out his full burst. Not 6 yet, so there's no ult from Yellow Star, but the ult comes out from Shen. Doesn't complete because Sona's already dead. Linek grabs that kill, going to keep chasing on the Makler. There's the slow. Linek going to start tanking the tower, takes quite a bit of damage. One more tower hit isn't going to be enough. Linek will walk out there with 33 HP and a double kill. Now that puts Against Authority in the lead by about 600 gold.
Yeah, and most likely, Linek will say now, like every other pro gamer, calculated.
And McCarthy, he's holding this blue buff in the bush, and Rated knows it's there. The taunt goes out, he's got that red, the exhaust is onto McCarthy. Charu flashing over the wall, needs to land a snare. There's the snare, there's a heal from Enrated. Not quite going to be enough. McCarthy grabs the kill with the true damage from red, which has just worn out. The ult from out from Graves. McCarthy will drop to the ignite of AMT2K. Charu is still trying to do his best to fight it, but he is out of mana. The blue buff is reset. Good charm lands. Yellow Star, he's low. He's now fighting 1v3 as Makler has arrived. Rise did kill Ari, and amongst all that, and they're going to finish the chase as Soaz has come down. Linek is here himself. Soaz actually flashing into blue. Libic will die. There's no way he's surviving this now. Way too far out of position. 1 Q from Soaz just to get himself the assist. Yellow Star and Linek trying to finish him off. And Libic, are you really surviving this? No. Soaz coming around the top side with that ignite. Your last attack from Yellow Star gets the kill. Against all authority.
That was perfectly played by Soaz, to be honest. He landed a Q on Sona before he moves left behind their tower, because that was the only escape route Sona had, so he basically blocked off all escape routes and leaving the option open to still maybe get the kill on Makler, because he did have his ultimate up.
5 kills to 4, 600 gold down. Renekton has shoved this into the top tower, done a fair bit of damage, but nothing too major. Soaz is still a long way ahead up there, 57 CS to 54. I lied, I didn't count, I presume. So he's not as far ahead as I thought. But we are up to 9 minutes 45 seconds.
Well, he was quite ahead before he left the lane. He decided to leave the lane and help around the blue buff, because that was an important goal for aAa to get. At that moment, Renekton had the time to come back and, well, take a bit of the loss in experience and minions that he already had on cannon. But I think it's worth it because so was so much behind that he could actually leave the lane when he wanted.
We do have McCarthy approaching this top lane. He does walk straight across a ward, in fact talks into a ward. He's got no energy, and Soaz is just going to come around and throw a shuriken in his face, show him that he's there, and he does a lot of damage actually. Soaz is going to chase that out for a bit, and that will force him to back away, but Makler again taking quite a bit of punishment from Yellow Star. He does ult away, Makler survives, but just as his own ult down, that buckshot forces the summon healed out, but Yellow Star going to drop to Libic. The ult comes out from Shen, needs to get a good taunt off into Underrated. Can he get through the minions? He can't, he's blocked. Taunt lands right on the tip. Makler does not want to get silenced, that would be all it takes for Underrated to kill him. McCarthy and Libic going to chase it down, and McCarthy will finish him with a Vorpal Blade. 6 kills to 5.
Did you see the interesting move that Shen decided to ultimate Sona instead of Varus?
It was closer to the champions, wasn't it? He'd have landed an easier taunt.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say, that Sona was, well, on the same line as Soraka, and that's probably why he chose to ultimate Sona, so they could still get the kill on Soraka.
Charu is approaching the top lane, but again he walks straight across the ward, just forces Soaz to back out a little bit, steals 1 CS from Kivon for his trouble. Lenek, you 6 yet? Yes, in fact, just 7 and you're double buffed, so quite a bit of attack speed onto this Twitch again. This is such a Linek champion, Twitch.
Such a lame champion.
Yeah.
But this is good though, because you can see that he's a very good Twitch player, because dying and not getting your red buff early, most Twitches don't come back in the game, and he came back in the game, and he's still here giving the enemy a hard time, so he is really a good Twitch.
Shh, he might hear you.
He won't, he's still French.
Yeah, he is certainly proving his worth. Makler then getting beaten up by Yellow Star again. Linek once more shows himself in this bottom lane. He does a lot of damage, takes 2 tower hits and walks back, but Enrated to heal him up for most of that damage. The poison means he's got the aggro, but this does look like against the Authority are going to take down bottom tower. It does fall, but AMT2K is a little bit caught off here. Does land a good charm onto Makati. The taunt goes to the wall. Charu needs to land a good snare, can't quite do it before AMT gets over the wall. And Ari's safe for now, but his ult is down, and they are looking to Dragon our MYM. They've brought Cubon down from top lane, so as looks like he's going to push the top tower instead. 4v5 for against the Authority. Linux not stealth. Makati flash taunts over the wall, gets in rated, but he's really low. And Rated gets burst down. Libic lands the stun. Cubon chasing them out in the backside. Linek is a killing spree, grabs the kill onto Shen before falling himself. Rise gets that kill. Yellow Star and AMTK still being chased out by the rest of MYM. Cubon's going to start recalling. They tell him not to. They want this dragon. But still 1-2 exchange. Favour of MYM. Both smites are down.
It's not only a 2-for-1 exchange, they also exchange turret for it, but still, like, slightly favored for MYM, because they have 1 kill more and a Drake almost equals a tower, so I'd say they're still equal after that fight.
And the gold count kind of agrees with you. Just where we were sitting before, aAa are up by 400 gold. They got 2 towers, bottom and top now in total. So lots of global gold for everyone, and Soaz has just been sitting in the top lane farming up even stronger. Almost got that completed new expensive Will of the Ancients, which will help Ari out ever so slightly as well. He has spotted McCarthy here at Wraith. He's going to come out around the backside. He just delay them slightly, a little bit more poke. And Linek, level 8, got a wit's end complete. Come and spot him as well. Not really going to go too far in there. Let's see where against an Authority going. Is the blue buff about to respawn? Because everyone's making their way across. Oh look, there's a blue buff.
It's well timed, and you see it almost in every top game. Like every blue buff that spawns, they will try to fight for it. And that's where you can snowball so hard from. Like if you have the early game advantage and you take away every blue buff, then well, you just destroy them even harder than they already are.
Yellow Star actually took that blue buff from Ari. McCarthy's going to drop to Soaz and Lilac. Kennen ult is down and they're pinging onto the bottom lane. They want Varus and Libic. They're going to all rotate around here, and this could be a dead tier 2 turret the way Against All Authority are playing. Really, really aggressive, and as you say, Twitch, early game champion, they have the early game advantage. They do. They have to get this to make it worth it, and there's no two ways.
Kills out of the fight before the for the blue buff.
Cuban still pushing this top lane. He's not going to get any more damage done to this just yet. Cancels his recall, starts getting a couple of auto attacks in. Against the Authority pinging onto mid turret. Charm just missing Charu's backside. Linak is coming around in stealth, going to spot Cubon. Are you going to try this? There's the recall goes out. And cancels the recall. They've got vision, of course. Linak is here, and this is going to be a sandwich down in onto Libic. Burst comes out from Graves, and Ari not quite enough to finish Sona off. She's on the back foot, and Linak wants this kill. There he goes, out of stealth, reveals himself. Unfortunately, Sona going to start her recall. She's safe here. MYM to keep her protected, and aAa going to grab their own blue buff.
And if you look at Linux score, he has 3 kills and 3 assists, and aAa has 7 kills overall. Even though getting shut down so early, still like managing to, well, be a major factor in almost all the kills they get. It's something to recognize.
As Twitch, and Twitch is a useless champion, supposedly. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think any champion you want to play can be useful. It's just like how you play it and how you play it out. Like every champion has its strengths.
That is very true. And Linak is showing you Twitch's strengths perfectly. Even before this stealth rework, soon PM. So, Against the Authority are bearing down on mid tower again. Blue team gonna take down the 3rd outer turret. Will be their 4th turret of the game. Nothing that MYM could do. In fact, Libic getting charmed, gonna take quite a bit of poke, but does force Against the Authority to back off. That 1 or 2 tower hits as MYM are here in force. 5 members of their lineup waiting and watching. Linak still at red buff, and Yellow Star still doing wraiths. Top lane is pushing, and to be honest, Cubon's about to lose a lot of CS to this turret because of it. So they are looking for the fight. The burst goes out to Libic again. He's going to drop to the ignite. Does stun Linak, who's forced to get heal from Yellow Star. Summoner heal goes out from Enrated as well. Makati's chasing him down. He wants his kill. Needs to land a good taunt through the wall. Linak gets a good sponge out. Yellow Star finishes the kill off. Cubon a little bit exposed. AMT, can you land a good charm? Not with that dash. Cubon grabs the kill onto Soaz on his way out. Makla survived that with the smallest sliver of health. Anyone, but Against All Authority with 4 members left up, only losing Soaz, are going to shove this turret and maybe even a tier 2 turret.
They will get the next one, unless they decide to go for Baron. Seems that they decide to push through, and most likely they will get this fairly easy.
They don't have a tank for the Baron, really, do they?
Nope. Like their most tanky champion is Cannon.
They would have got that tower, but Yellow Star decided he wanted to go steal a red buff instead, which makes sense. And Linak popping his ult actually means Cubon took damage, therefore Linak got aggro, so he was forced to back off a little bit too.
I think it's smart that they move back, because if they would actually stay until they got the tower, they were all fairly low and they would have to base anyway after that. So they did want to leave the option open, I think, to let them go for instantly Baron after that.
Yeah. 10 and 9. Against All Authority are slowly creeping ahead. They are up by just over 1,000 gold. And they're going to
still a pretty small lead.
It is. It's a very small lead for 19 minutes. With a game that has this many kills in it, the gold count really even. But there is an Infinity Edge up now on the 3-1 for Graves. He's starting to look pretty strong. And Kennon's finishes Crystal Scepter. No Will of the Ancients at all. So he did bought all the prerequisites to troll me.
Yellow Star, he always, well, almost always gets the highest creep counts of the game. If you would ever pay attention to it, I have known him for so long already, and he almost always gets the highest creep count. It's crazy how he can farm.
Look at the items on AMT2K and Enrated. The only difference is that Zonya's in slot number 1 for AMT.
Yeah, he should sell it.
You should sell it. It would make it much more team play orientated. But Shen has fallen back now. This is his standard role, split pushing the other lanes. McCarthy is being chased out by Soaz. He's going to keep going on this. That Q will actually land on a creep.
Yeah,
Might be
Twitch
enough.
is coming, but Renekton is also coming, so I'm not entirely sure.
He flashed and failed, taunted away, and McCarthy is actually going to drop here. The red buff is enough. Soaz, despite Linux' best attempt to expunge for the kill, Soaz gets his.
They've been pressing their keys to get the kill first.
Yeah, it's who can W or E first, and Soaz managed it. Well, all that farm went to against all authorities. AMT, Yellow Star, as you say, is being dived. That's a massive bit of burst damage. The dash as that taunt comes out from Makler. Not enough. Grabs the Charu kill. Good couple of crits. And the Ignite and Tower is enough to get that.
Totally worth it for Yellow Star.
And there was an assist on N-rated as well. So it was kill for an assist on both counts.
Okay. They actually gained then out of that.
Manak is still pushing top lane. Keyvon's watching him. The rest of Against Authority is shoving mid. What do MYM need to do now? Because they are just losing towers on all fronts here. What do we need to see? Do they need to stop dying like McCarthy's about to do in the mid lane? Take the ult from Kennen. AMT will go low, force the back away. Tower's still up. The top lane we've got Cubon chasing Linak as well. The Ignite is out, the Q is enough. Cubon's on a killing spree. Now that's a red buff trade.
Dies. You're always happy when you can kill a sneaky red. But I don't think there's a lot MYM can do at this point. They don't really have a hero that's overpowered late game. And in my opinion, they lack the damage to do anything. The only thing they can do is, like always, take a fight under your tower and hope they will dive you, but I think aAa is way too smart for that. They will just try and force a Baron, get an Oracle, and bait them into Baron, get a fight there, and after the fight, take the Baron and do the final push most likely.
Yeah.
The only thing MYM can try to do is go split push with Shen and maybe try to force something through that, but the fact is that Shen is not strong enough because he jungle and not solo lanes. He will not be able to face anyone on the lane.
Linak just uses smite. He did. So Linak just smited red buff, so we're not going to see any kind of Baron forcing for at least a minute from Against Authority.
They can still bait it and force it if they want, even though without smite.
Yeah, they can bait the fight.
But they cannot finish it.
No, they wouldn't. I don't expect to see them stay on the Baron for very long if they do start it, that's for sure. They are again shoving down this mid tower. As I said, Twitch is strong in the early game. They've got no really tanky champions. Okay, Yellow Star Sours are getting a bit of health up, and that heal from Soraka will help him survive. But
Twitch is strong late too, but only if he gets the farm. So the only problem is if you jungle him, you don't get the farm you get on lane, and if you don't get your kills, then you're shut down early, and it's just too hard with Twitch jungle to come back. That's the only downside from Twitch, but Linux obviously found a way to, well, 90% of the time do good with him.
The Cubon actually dashing out into Against Authority. The charm does miss, but the dash goes forward from Yellow Star. Gets a couple of good crits off and a buckshot. Will take a third of Cubon's health away.
aAa should really go back and get an Oracle going and just bait out the Baron fight.
Let's see how they can do. They got good poke. There's the slow comes out. Libak will flash, stuns onto Linak, but he does nothing. They don't really burst him down. The ult comes out from Soaz right in the middle of everyone against Linak, and now Linak's out of the stun. He's got his ult charging, and it rips through everyone left up for MYM. Double kill for Soraka. He doesn't want to take the third one. There's the ace against the Authority, only losing Yellow Star. Still managed to burst down that turret, and this is going to be a dead inhib. But
yeah, they will get an inhibitor base and then hopefully force the Baron. That's the best they can do.
Yeah, there's no reason not to. I mean, they stunned Linak, yes, but then they didn't burst him down. He sat there and let the stun run out, and then he just used his ult on everyone for MYM, who were quite grouped up.
Red team's
No one was in range from MYM to follow up that stun, and to begin with, MYM, like, they're under farmed, they're under leveled. I don't see the reason why they would go full frontal 5-on-5 fight in a fight that you obviously cannot win, even though aAa was maybe, well, not in the best position, and Lina gets stunned right away. Still, there's no way they could win that fight, in my opinion.
Okay.
The way they are behind at the moment.
Chat says he was invisible as well, which would be another thing to do with it, so if he was,
Yeah.
I apologise. But still a really good fight for Against All Authority. They have taken that in here, they are backing off now, like you say. Linux just stole the red buff, and Immaculate going to farm bottom, and there's the pings onto Baron from Against All Authority. Straight in there, there's pings on it from MYM, so MYM know that's exactly what they're going to do here. Let's see how they handle it.
Well, MYM should, if aAa does Baron now, they should not try to take the Baron fight, they should just try to aim for the steal and keep defending their base. That's all they need to do, but most likely, like most teams do, they will take the Baron fight, most likely lose it, and then go down with the final push.
They didn't buy an Oracle's. Soraka got a double kill in there, but she bought a Negatron's cloak instead of getting an Oracle's.
That's a mistake, my opinion. Like, they don't need to buy an Oracle, they can just keep pushing lanes and still win the game, but the most smart option would be to just get an Oracle, clear rewards, and force a final fight.
They are about to walk straight into these guys in the jungle. Keep on slowed.
Yeah, MYM is still forcing fights, in my opinion, and they're even more behind than they were already, so I really don't understand why they keep trying to get fights. Maybe they just want to give up.
Yeah, I think they may have just thrown it there as well. And then that grabs a kill onto Cubon. Then they finish off Shen and Sona and Rise in quick succession. There goes the tier 2 tower top. There goes the inhibitor. And with 5 members against the Authority with 2 AD carries, they're going to nuke down these Nexus turrets with nothing that Makler can do about it, despite his great poke. And so is zoning him out anyway. That's going to be GG for game 1. Unless something goes horribly wrong here. Sona is back up actually. Keep an eye on the second one as the stun goes out. I'm going to bring it back. We've got 3 or 5 seconds up. He's going low. MYM is just respawning, but it's too little too late. They will take that kill. And Against All Authority go 1-0 up as we get ready for game number 2.